Moved to Pullman to begin his first semester at Washington State, seeking a PhD. Some of those that knew him in school described him as professional, nice, mature. His prior research includes this.
Active fantasy life is my guess. We heard that he followed all 3 female victims on Instagram and on social media. That at least tells us that if he did commit these crimes, he was somebody who was fantasizing about some type of relationship between himself and certainly the one that he was incessantly messaging. But just what that relationship might look like, who knows where it's going.
That he had. What did you find on that phone?
Well, the phone, it just provided us and matched up everything that we mostly already had. You know, we'd already conducted search warrants and had a lot of his activity, a lot of his phone usage. So when we actually had the physical phone and we were able to do the extract of it, you know, we didn't gain a lot from it. You know, we know that he was clearing a lot of his devices and wiping things from them. We know that he used VPNs. So, but we also did find screenshots and pictures of news coverage of Moscow. Correct.
That's so classic.
Right.
It has been said that there were pictures on his phone of groups of young people in Moscow, and that Maddie, possibly Kaylee, were in some of those photos. Is there any truth to that?
No truth at all. There was not, to this date, we have never found a single connection, anything, between any of the 4 victims or the other 2 surviving roommates with him. No pictures, no texts, no. There was rumors, speculation that he was following some of them on different social media sites. There was sites that were sent to us of, hey, this is him, he's following. They were either untrue or they were sites that people made that were completely fake. And so we had to research and go into every single one of those just to prove or debunk what somebody had made up to, you know, and of course then that spread to the media and it went wild that he was following or there was a connection, and there wasn't. We wanted that, you know. I think naturally we need that, you know. What's the connection? What's the why? And we have found zero, never any connection.
I saw the amount of search warrants that applied for and got returns on, and I don't think we saw the returns, but the work you were doing was monumental, going through everything, and I saw that in the documents. You know, back at the house, we have now learned, because documents that have not been public have now been made public, and Xana Kernodle found on the floor over 50 stab wounds, many of them, much of them defensive. Can you explain that? Put that into layman's terms, the wounds and the defensive aspect of them.
She fought back, and she fought hard. And that's unless Darren can expand on that, that's primarily the reason.
Yeah, that was. Xana absolutely fought. And we know that Xana was up. We know that Xana had just gotten her DoorDash shortly before this and was actively up. And so, yeah, she did. She fought.
So as she fought back, he kept stabbing.
The fight just continued, yes.
Kaylee, in the documents that just became public, there was a preliminary autopsy report that said she was stabbed over 20 times. Mr. Gonsalves said, and we haven't seen the final autopsy, but he has said she was stabbed, Kaylee, over 30 times. Kaylee, over 30 times. Do you know the amount of times she was stabbed?
We do. We know the exact amount of times that every one of them was stabbed, and it's not something that we would speak about for the privacy of the families. This is very accurate.
Well, we know because of the public documents her face was unrecognizable. And then the concept of, okay, a second weapon, where do you stand on that to set the record straight?
Yeah, we believe that there was one primary weapon. The same knife was used to kill all four. As has been reported, and I think the family has spoke to this, Kaylee was struck in the face, and we don't know what caused the marks that were left by it. It wasn't fatal, and we just don't know what caused that. And we've never located, obviously, the knife that we know did kill all four, and we don't know what was used to do that.
Now, a fist can be a deadly weapon.
Right.
The injuries to the face, could that have simply been from a hand on her face?
No.
So you believe the injuries to her face came from something other than his fist?
Yes, I think the fist could have been part of it, but it certainly appears something else struck her to cause the marks that we saw that is not consistent with a fist.
Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. This is all my thoughts, my speculations. The Grub truck. I've showed this picture plenty of times, at least a year ago. Now that we know that 2 weapons were used on Kaylee, I like to go back to all the alleged weapons I think I saw. I could be just imagining. It could be nothing. That's why I love my subscribers. Let me know. Share your honest feedback, respectfully and mindfully. What does this young man have on? What does he have inside his jeans pant? The short one with the beanie hat. Could that be a large weapon, allegedly? He has a belt holding whatever he's carrying in his pants. What do y'all think? It looks like a large weapon for me. You can see it's something large and very sharp and pointy when it comes up to the knees. A K-bar is a large knife. If I'm not wrong, it's 9 centimeters. But when I hear large knives, I think more of a 22 centimeter. Could these 3 have gone to 1122 King Road? The reason I ask is they were standing next to the glass window or glass door behind. And the minute Maddie and Kaylee walk in, they turn their backs towards the door, the mirror, the glass window, so that Kaylee and Maddie wouldn't spot them. These 3 were acting really sus at the Grub truck. The tall one, who has the phone device in his hand, next to the short one with the beanie hat, is carrying a backpack. Now, these people are supposed to be out in town. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. Why would they all be carrying not beanie hats? Why would they all, or many of them, be carrying backpacks? Is he carrying weapons in his bag? Is my question. Let me know what you think about this young man with the beanie hat. What is he carrying? All these 3 young men are from the Sigma Chi fraternity. I think the belt is holding the knife. And the reason it looks so thick is because that is the leather sheath of the knife. If you go in on Amazon and check, you will see, not even Amazon, sorry, online, you will see thick, large weapons like that. He's carrying something else in his pockets, inside his hoodie. After these guys leave, and Kaylee and Maddie leave, Jovita's watching these pictures at 2 a.m. That looks like someone with long black hair. This is what Jovita's watching. I clearly see people on the floor. Looks like 2 people on the floor. And you can see a female with black long hair. I haven't observed these pictures properly, and every time I look into the Grub truck, something comes up. Doesn't that look like a female with long black hair? Or am I imagining? You can see 2 people on the floor, and I believe that's Zan and Ethan, because Kaylee and Maddie just left. May they rest in peace. Once again, I see 2 people on the floor, and I see someone with long black hair. You can see 2 figures on the floor, and the people standing next to them. My dear subscribers, I know these pictures are blurry, but what I'm trying to tell y'all is this is the phone device of Jovito at the Grub truck. And I showed y'all the phone device of Saeed. Y'all saw this first in this channel. And what I'm trying to tell y'all is that you can clearly see that there are many figures there. What I mean by it is I refuse to believe that it was one person who did this awful crimes. I am buying what they're selling. Absolutely not. We heard the detective saying that there's no connection between BK, the roommates, and the surviving roommates. Although I believe BK could have known the surviving roommates. In my opinion. You can see how many figures are there. You can see someone with black and very short hair. Oh my God, what is she watching? Her pictures are much more clearer. Is that Zana and Ethan? Poor babies. It is them. Guys, you'll see what I see? It's 2 people on the floor. So I believe they put Ethan back on the bed. For 3 years, since I exposed Saeed's pictures on Banfield, and since I exposed all these people on the Grub truck, and them calling out Zana's name, I never paid attention to the blonde one, because she's a bit distant away. But her pictures seem to be much more clearer. And these people are not getting the pictures at the same time. Did they pay separate payments? Her picture clearly shows 2 people on the floor. Zana and Ethan, in my opinion. This proves to me that BK didn't do it. Or if BK did it, he didn't do it by himself. How would all these people have access to just say BK doing these crimes by himself? Okay, let's go with their incel theory. Alice Rogers has just created more problems. Let's go with the incel theory. Let's go with the serial killer, SK theory. Do we really think that an incel who's working by himself or a SK who's working by himself would be letting the world see this? Especially the people in the college, so that he gets arrested immediately? That ain't happening. This was the Greek lifestyle. It was the fraternities and the sororities. Look at these girls. Sororities. Look at those girls. Sororities. Frats. Frats there too. In my personal opinion, this is the cover-up. These are the people they're protecting. The college students, allegedly, in my opinion, won't be surprised if they planted the knife sheet unless Kohlberger is involved, which I doubt. Why would Kohlberger entertain them by letting them watch a live stream of unalivings? I have always believed that whoever was doing these unalivings, one of them had to have a body cam on. And I believe the body cam was connected to some app. I was hearing Snapchat Geo, but it was connected to some app that certain people had access to. Maybe people who paid. Who knows? Oh my God. I think this is the clearest picture I've seen after Saeed's Banfield pictures. Let me know what you'll think. That is true, people. I think Zana had on a red hoodie jumper. The reason I believe that is you can see a girl with black hair and a red hoodie in another picture I have, which I'll share with you all later. I've shown you all plenty of times, but that is the reason I'm going back to the beginning of this case. I don't believe the correct justice is served. These people have the audacity to be watching these pictures. Now that is the clearest picture I've seen. Let me know what you'll think. All I've done is zoom in. So go back to the Grub truck. When you see Jovito, look at the female next to her, next to him, and zoom into her pictures too. This ain't a coincidence. This was a live unaliving going on. And I really believe somebody, one of the suspects, had a body cam. Could have recorded it on his body cam and released it, or someone was recording it. I really believe, I've always said that the house was recorded in and out. Possibly the surviving roommates or someone inside was working with them, in my opinion. Please like, share and subscribe. May the victims rest in peace.